Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at AVAX. Before we jump into the price action, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, why not hit that subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Once you're in the general chat area, just mention a member of staff. We'll be happy to help you out with anything you may need. Okay, so let's have a look at what is going on here. So there is a couple of ways of reading this, and basically this is my preferred count at the moment, and I'm looking at this potentially as an A wave up into this high, and then looking for this potentially as a B wave to the downside. So we did talk about this before. It is possible that this B wave is not completed and it actually needs to move over still, and actually we're still within a corrective pattern here. So what we would be looking for that would effectively be something to this effect, where we could be actually looking for this B wave to come and look for this C wave to the downside. So we've actually come into that rejection zone that we talked about previously in the video, and we did overshoot it slightly, but it is still possible we could still look for this B wave to the downside in a three-wave move here. We have actually come up towards this zone here, and let's just throw this on here. So we've actually come up to that 786. It is also possible that if we do push up higher here, we could look to potentially come back higher towards this 854, or even higher towards this B wave, towards this A wave, or this previous B wave high here, if we're going to be forming a flat. So really, we need to just be on the lookout. This could still turn into an overshooting B wave here. It is also possible, like I said, we get this move higher up here, and we still have that corrective move to the downside. For the most part, though, it has satisfied the requirement here, and we could argue that this is just a three-wave structure here to the upside, and actually we're looking to start to break down for this C wave. So what we'd want to see here, if we're looking for this breakdown for the C, is we'd want to actually start to take some of these lows. So first this 1991, this next one here at this 1902, and then finally sort of taking out this 1819 zone. For as long as we hold this zone of this 1855 to the 1756 area, we'd have to just be a little bit careful that we don't actually come back into this zone and actually look for support and continue to the upside. So we need to just bear that in mind within this structure, because even within this move here, we can argue that potentially we could have looked to complete here, and we could have a flat correction in this zone. So really, we'd want to actually get this move down and actually take this 1683 if we're looking for the C wave continuation to the downside. From there, what we'd be looking for is effectively looking for the C wave to the upside. For as long as we actually fail to break above this 26.43 to this $20.42, we can always still be looking for that potential of having a diagonal here where this becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, something like this to the downside. So this is still a possibility at the moment. We could also potentially move this fourth wave across here as a flat, but I don't really like the size of it then. So yeah, we need to, let's just be a little bit careful. We can argue we have completed into here, so we are looking for that possibility of a bigger move to the upside here. Whether this is a C wave or it actually progresses up past that 1618 and becomes a wave 3, we'll have to wait and see. Time will tell. So basically, this is the way I'm currently looking at this. It would be neatest for it to actually break down here for one more time, but really, until we actually start to lose these lows, we need to just be aware that we could actually still see some upside potential here. And this is just basically looking at this as a 5-wave move into here with a 3-wave correction and then that continuation. We did also talk about it in the previous video that we could slightly change how we are looking at this, and effectively what we could say is that actually from further back here we have an A, this is a flat for a B, and then actually we're looking for the C. So the C would be lower down here in this case, to be this 29.56. So we're going to have to monitor these moves. But if we start to develop some bigger structure here to the upside, we just turn this off. And what I'd be looking out for here was the fact that we form something like this as a 1, 2, this potentially as a 1 as a diagonal, a 2, and then we actually look to break to the upside here and form some 5-wave structure. So this is the possibility for as long as we actually hold this low here at this 1848. If we lose that low, it becomes less likely, but really only by losing this 1684 could we completely invalidate any bullish structure here, because we could still argue if we do lose this low that you know, we could still see something like this playing out as a flat, and then actually we have this as a 1, a 2, and then we look to push up for a third wave after having a flat correction to the downside. So this is something that we need to just be careful. If we do start to break down from this point, I would be looking out around, let me just throw this on here. I would be looking out for this area here of this 1618, which should actually be a double bottom here. So keep an eye out for that. If we do start to break down deeper here, this 1220, this 1918 to this 1847 could be a zone that we see support come into. Alternatively, the other way of looking at this, if we're looking at an expanding flat, is we could actually look for a move down towards this 1739 as a 0.618 of this as an A wave. So that's just something to keep an eye on if we do start to break to the downside here. However, I am thinking that this is more likely to actually come down here, but like I said, you know, until we actually break these lows, we need to just be cautious, because this could be a B wave high, both in this situation and within this situation. We can argue this B wave could be completed here. It would be neat to, like I said, to come down one more time, but yeah, sometimes the market just doesn't give us that. So we'll just have to sort of manage that as we come out here. So now the other thing I wanted to talk about is we did also mention the possibility of this, where we count this move slightly different. Looking at this as a 5-wave structure down here, and then this would be basically a wave 1, looking for this as a wave 2, and then looking for that potential to actually break much deeper here, where we're looking to actually push down towards this 1257 range. So if we do actually start to break down deeper and we start to lose some of these key areas of support, this previous zone here of this 1552, and then basically if we fail to hold this 618 area here and the 786 area lower down, 1229, you know, we'd have to be on the lookout for the possibility we could start to see some, well, we could be in a trending move then, where this becomes an additional A, come back up for a B, and then we actually look to break to the downside. So this is something I'm just keeping on the back burner for now. If we stay below this 2279, it keeps this alive. If we do move back above that, we would invalidate this potential. So just keep an eye on it. The bullish perspective here, we were talking about, I think I need to adjust some of these targets. So the way we were looking at it would have to change. I'm actually just going to delete these areas. So we can see with that they did offer us support, but the way in which we've come up here now doesn't really fit. We'd have to argue, if we're going to look at it in this way, that potentially we had a truncation here. This is a 4th, and we'd have to look at the possibility that this could have been some kind of a diagonal. So 1, 2. Yeah, I mean, we can argue that we could have had a diagonal into this high point. It did meet that requirement we were looking for that target, but you would just have to be careful with counting this like this, because this could always extend up here. You know, if we want to count it like this, we would have to just be careful. Like I said, you know, we could have an additional 1 and a 2 here, where this actually becomes another structure. So let's just remove this for the second, and then we'll discuss that. So basically, like I was saying, you know, as long as we actually hold this this low point here of this 1848, we can look for the potential that, you know, we could see some additional structure in here play out, where this becomes a wave 1 and a 2 again. And what we'd be looking out for is basically holding this zone. So we've actually come into that 50% already. The 786 would be the lower end of this range that we'd want to hold. The 618 golden pocket area would actually be this 1964 to this 1954. So if we do move down lower down into that zone, it is possible we could then look for a move to the upside again, where actually what we do is we look at this as a 1-2, this is an additional 1-2, and then we could actually be setting ourselves up for a bigger structure. It is also possible that if you're going to subdivide it in that way, that we can argue that this is just an ABC completed, and then we could look to break down. So it's going to be important whether we hold this 1848 if we're looking for bullish potential here. But yeah, this could still be a corrective move here as an ABC. But for the most part, for neatness, I'd like to keep this. I'd like to keep this 1848 and this lower range of this 1911 if we're looking for bullish potential here. So what we would then have to argue is that potentially within this structure, we could be looking at something like this as a 1, looking for this wave 2, getting a 3rd, 4th, and a 5th to the upside. So this would be looking for that bullish potential here. Looking for this to basically continue up here in a bullish structure. And what we'd be looking for, I'm going to just, so well, for the current level, what we'd be looking for is actually move up towards this 2580. Though if we do come lower down into this box area, it is possible, like I said, we could argue that this is a completed correction into here, or alternatively, we come back up one more time here, retest this zone, and then sort of break down into the lower region of this, where we then look at this as a potential wave 2 bottom into that zone. So like I said, that those support ranges will be here between this. Let's just come in here a bit closer, drag them over, there we go. So between the 618 would be quite an interesting one, to be honest with you. Alternatively, we have come and actually retested these tops here, so we just need to be cautious that it hasn't actually already completed. If we were looking for this potential, what we'd be looking for is basically to see a nice strong 5-wave structure developing to the upside off the back end of this move. We'd have to be careful around the retracement to the upside here, and what we'd be looking out for is possible rejection again. I'll throw this on between this 2079 to the higher end of this 854 here of this 2140. If we do move back up here and we face rejection in this zone, it would be likely that actually we look to break down one more time, and then that could potentially be looking for this wave 2 low to come into play here, and then we could look for a move to the upside. So if we had to come back up towards, let's say this 50%, actually that's quite an interesting area. If we move up to that 50%, 1-to-1 would actually be this 1915. So be an interesting area to watch out. If we do push up higher, obviously this would change our target range. The 786, which would be pretty much towards the top of this move, would actually bring us down to this 1960 afterwards. So if we do just see a 3-wave structure to the upside here, something like this, we could actually look for that continuation down again towards this 1960 range. If we do find support in this area, effectively we can then look for this bigger potential to the upside, but failing to hold this zone would get rid of that bullish potential within here, where we're looking for this as a 1-2 and then actually looking to push up. So this will be a key area to hold. If we fail to hold this zone, then it becomes less likely that we have this bigger structure here. And yeah, I mean, or for that 618, where we move that to 1618 would actually be this area here of this 2460. So if we do get a move like this, then we can start to argue that we could be looking for a bigger structure here, where this becomes a 1-2 and a 1-2, and then basically after completing this 5th wave move to the upside here, what we'd be looking for would be that additional potential for forming a 4th and a 5th. But yeah, we just need to be careful here. There is some bullish aspects that we can look at within these structures, but we also need to be a little bit cautious because some of these moves up here are looking very corrective. So we can argue, like I said, that it's a diagonal, but then we need to just be careful that this isn't an ending diagonal here, and that actually it completes this move, and then we actually look to break down in another sequence, looking to target out lower down towards the 1650 to this 1229. So that would be where we'd be looking out for if we're looking for that bearish bias and we're looking to actually look to break down. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. If you have a look down there, you'll also find affiliate links for BYBIT and Prime XBT, both great exchanges that we use all the time when we're doing our trading. Check them out. If you don't have an account, using the affiliate link does help support the channel and helps us out, so we do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.